you've heard the famous phrase, right? Rags to riches. Mine was the opposite. And I came back to the US totally destroyed because of a
Wow.
partner kind of backstab. We had a lawsuit which we fought for 150K there in Malaysia. My runway is getting smaller. I gotta take off. And once I take off, I can't land again. So that's where I said, okay, let me put my trust in you guys.
This is going to literally turn people into billionaires if they do it properly, if they do it
Exactly.
right, but they got to get in right
Right.
now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another client interview. So today I have Kamran here. He's working really, really hard. He's on call right now with his previous job. So we're gonna try our best to get him out, and we're gonna learn a little bit about his previous experience, as well as what his agency is about, what he's trying to build, and what his goal is to be able to get out of the 95 that he's stuck in right now. So with that being said, brother Kamran, welcome. So what exactly is your 9 to 5 right now? What do you do?
So because of my electrical background, and when your thing, halal CEO was
Yeah.
like constantly coming up in my Facebook and all that. All right, halal CEOs. All right, let's look at what they have to offer. And so I mean, he sounded pretty genuine, and I said, okay, yeah, that's if it's designed for Muslims, and they're looking at people's busy lifestyles, why not go try them out? So I kind of had thought of the niche that I was going to go in because I've got electrical background. Plus, I did my own. We did our own home solar installation. So I kind of knew. I said, man, that's not a bad idea. Let's go into this niche. And because I'm in electrical engineering, so I understand the technology. It wouldn't be too difficult. I mean, if anything else, I may have to read up a lot more. So this is where I got in, and I think the initial part that I was thinking was like, oh man, so I have to design everything, do everything. I was like, okay, no, at least that burden was off. That's LMA kind of took over that and
Yeah.
pretty much got it up and
We
running.
have your back when it comes to
And
the
then
design
getting
stuff.
these
Yeah.
setters and closers because frankly speaking, I'm not really. I've done sales. I don't mind doing it, but I've never done this niche, but like they say, you got to make it, fake it till you make it. So, so
Well, you don't
I have
have
to
to
put,
do that with us.
I, yeah.
Yeah,
So
you're.
I have to put this. If I was taking calls myself from the very get go, then it's like, oh man, shoot. I mean, it takes a little bit of time, practice because it's not something that I'm doing day in day out. Like you guys are just like, man, that's you guys are out of the world. So that's different. So that's where that support thing came in. That really calmed down my. And I was talking to Sergio. It's like, hey man, shoot, what am I supposed to do with this? He said, don't worry, things will roll out as you go. And I'm just, being engineering mindset, you just do analytic. No, I got to have everything perfectly set up, and then I'll go. And Sergio said, stop, don't be too analytic. Just let it roll. Because if you don't let it roll and you want every piece of puzzle fixed in perfectly first, you're never going to take off. So I was asking him last week actually. I said, man, oh shoot, I got some good leads in LinkedIn through U-Link automation.
Nice.
What do I do?
Nice.
What do I do? He said, talk to them. I said, man, what do you mean talk to them? I'm like, if I blow it up, he says, so what? You got to move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll just build you confidence. I say, yeah, okay, that's what I'm gonna do.
Absolutely. I think you have a great
So
mindset
that's
around that,
that's where
right?
I'm right now. So I think
Like,
the idea is to really launch. Where we are, it's like probably like you say, it's a 0 to 10K and then beyond because the final goal is basically getting out of the 9 to 5. Once I've gone into this agency and it's making good money, and then maybe I know I spoke to Mo that there's a partnership option, there's other options, but definitely want to go take it higher and higher to a point where at least a time comes when I can make this as a golden goose where I have multiple streams of income investment in because I've done some real estate, so I know where to go in real estate. I know how restauranting is done. I've got some people lined up who say, hey, can you jump in with some cash on that? So there's a lot of things that I think a central business could do, and then I could develop multiple streams of income. That's the idea behind it in the long run. But at
okay.
least get the agency going at 10K and above, and because 10K sort of gives me about what I make right now, roughly, give and take.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh,
So what's your
so
field right now? Can you talk a little bit about I know you're like super busy right now. Your supervisor left to India and like all the burdens on
yeah,
you, which is a typical 9 to 5 thing. It used to happen to my dad all the time. I remember he'd be on
yeah,
call.
shoot.
So talk to us about that.
Oh man, this is crazy. I used to be. I got my bachelor's in electrical engineering, then I got my master's in semiconductor manufacturing. So I started with Texas Instruments back in. I mean, California. It was National Semi. Then I moved to Texas. So the biggest employer in Texas is Texas Instruments in Dallas. So I worked for like 10 years there as a semiconductor, engineer, like a little bit of Linux, but that was more hardware because we're doing chip development. So Sun microprocessors, all these Nokia. So if you ever owned a Nokia, I've worked on it on the chipset. Then we kind of left that and we started our own oil and gas consulting business because my brother is a PE in mechanical engineering. So we went to Malaysia all the way. So we were making pretty good money there. It's just the oil and gas industry crashed, and I came back to the U.S. totally destroyed because of a
Wow.
partner kind of backstab. We had a lawsuit which we fought for 150K there in Malaysia. So things went bad. So it
Welcome
was
to
like
being a
you've heard
business owner, huh?
exactly, sir. And I mean, you've heard the famous phrase, right? Rags to riches. Mine was the opposite. Riches to rags in no time. It was really bad, man. It was so bad. So I had to restart. I went back into doing LED. So I had a friend here. We went to LED business. That started doing good. Again, a setback came in. I got a big contract for a doctor's office. We changed everything, and from God, I guess, everything started going bad. She started calling me, "Hey, Kamran, the LEDs are going bad." Oh my God. So I called my old sailor, say, "What happened?" I said, "It's bad news." Or fortunately, the shipment from China, that batch was bad. So we will take it back for free. But that costed me money because I had to go reinstall everything out of my pocket
Mm.
for the labor. And so it just crashed me again. So I went into general contracting. I've been just like wanting, on the roll. And the same thing happened. Started a small contract for 12 brands, and it was awesome. And the GC in the middle of it just left, and then ended up trying to sue me that it's I haven't paid him. But I was good at developing relationships with the client, so I told him, hey, listen. He was an Arab guy who was opening a shop. I said, listen, hey, this is what's happening. He said, you don't worry, I will take care of it. So that was God's help. I got out of that one. So a friend of mine suggested, he says, listen, you've been wanting to go gig after gig and you're not having enough cash.
Mm.
And when you fall, you have hard landing. Just quit for some time, get back into the industry, change your field. So instead of semiconductors, go into IT. You'll make some more money. And then just once you got some cushion, then come back up and start something. So that's where back in 2023, I started revisiting all these things again. And when your thing came up through one
Yeah,
of those
yeah.
halal CEOs, I said, okay, let's redo this because I'm getting tired. I mean, I've already crossed 40 something, close to 50 now, crossing that. So I said, I told my brother, listen, my runway is getting smaller. If you're in your 30s, your 40s, your runway is still big and you can
Mm.
fly and you can land. My runway is getting smaller. I gotta take off. And once I take off, I can't land again.
So
So that's
that's a pretty it's like a roller coaster, right? It feels like I'm sure you've
yeah.
got a lot of good experiences as well out of it, right? Like the positive things that you
Oh,
can look back at.
yep.
But I'm curious, like Brother Kamran, you picking a digital marketing agency instead of, like you said, restaurant business experience, the previous brick and mortar experiences that you brought up. Why not going to a regular business like that? Or even if we go a little bit deeper in the online business space, there's so many different businesses. There's drop shipping, e-commerce, Airbnb. There's so many different things popping out.
Right.
Why did you decide to say, hey, I want to launch my own digital marketing agency?
I think the difference came in when I saw what you guys were offering. That's the key decision that I did. Plus my research in the past, I was looking at different things. There wasn't any company or somebody offering. I mean, there's like tons and tons of gurus and programs, and I mean, man, come on, I can keep taking those programs. So when this done for you kind of thing came in, I said, you know what? I think this is different. Let's give this a try, because I hadn't hit upon a DFY company in the past. I hit one, but it wasn't totally DFY. So I kind of struggled, got tired, and I'm still paying the fee for that. But yours, I think, is just it just kind of sort of stood by, and I said, okay, man, somebody will be doing the hand holding for me, so that'll help because I'm truly taken up sometimes 9 to 5. I mean, sometimes my schedules are really loose, and I would tell Sergio that hey, this schedule's open, but unfortunately, certain sometimes it's like totally. we're dead booked. I mean, sometimes I've been asked him to move the meeting much forward. Like today, I was like, oh, 4 man, shoot, if I don't make it, I'll have to text or say, hey, move it on. So that was probably the reason, and my research in the past, because I've looked at tons of YouTube videos, this and that. So right now, the future is based on the kind of cash I had, looking at the success rate that you guys have sort of advertised and stand by. So that's where I said, okay, let me take a leap of faith and put my trust in you guys and see where it takes me.
Oh,
Because until I don't do
yeah.
that, it'll just never get off.
Really, I know it's a tough decision, right? It's a, it's life
Yeah, it was
changing.
tough. Because,
Yeah, it's a life
right.
changing thing. It's completely. Um, I'm curious, like, how has your experience been so far, right? From the onboarding call until now. If you could talk a little bit about that.
Uh, I think it's been good, especially with Sergio. That it went really nice. I mean, I think he's an SME in his area. So a lot of things that he sees in me, he was like, "Man, you're too analytic." I said, I've dealt with analytics. That's where you gotta calm down. Stop being Mr. Perfect. It's like analysis paralysis kind of thing. That's how I
Yeah,
am. So no, I gotta have
I'm the
this
same
all lined
way.
up before I make a
Yeah,
call.
I agree. I'm the same way. And I've seen, and even with other clients, right? Like like when people ask me, like, "Oh, will I get the results?" I'm like, here's my question to them. It's like, all right, if you're gonna be the client that shows up to us, and when we deliver a logo, because like you said, right, we do a lot of done for you services from the
Right,
logos to the website, landing page, the marketing, we do the
right,
hiring, we do a lot of done for you things. Now we literally had a client who came in for a logo. Like one of the pieces was we were delivering a logo for him. It took him 4 months to decide which
right,
logo he wanted because every time he would bring up, he'd be like, this shade of purple I don't like, and then we'd send it back, and then it would come back. It's like, it's too pointy. Can we change the font style? And there's a point where it's like, hey man, like if we can't get this logo
yeah,
figured out, then you can't come in and tell us, oh, I didn't get the results because you're the one who
right,
kind of like stuck in your own way, and that does come from analysis
yep,
paralysis, right? So it's these things
yeah,
that I tell people, like if you're a 9 to 5 like employee, or you're working in a corporate job, running a business is a little bit different than that, right? You can't think of everything being
yeah,
this perfect little thing. There's going to be ups and
true.
downs, and you have to be able to handle all of these things. How's your experience been when it comes to like the done for you parts, right? So like the logo, the website,
And
things like that.
I think that's a lot of relief because if I look back, if I'm doing the thing myself, I mean it will take a long time. You all in the beginning asked for all these different logins and this, and so a lot of that information that cuts down a lot of that extra time to actually go in and do that. And especially if I'm designing the whole thing myself. But right now, at that time, that there wasn't enough AI to do the website development, but now
Mm.
I know there AI to basically get your landing page up and going. But it still takes time, and then trying to get the right design and all that. So I was impressed with the design. I was like, man, and it was Ramadan was getting closer, and since I have this burning thing, like, man, I gotta quit. I gotta quit 9 to 5. So I was like, let's see how this looks. And it for the first time I told Sergio, man, this is awesome design. I got no problems with that. The only problem I had a little bit was as we move on, the wording, because we had gone through the process of dealing with what your wording should be, because it's the niche is
Yeah,
solar company,
there's
so you don't want
always
to use the canned
iterations.
words.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So there's always iterations to
so
like, or even in
right,
design or the development. It's like,
yep,
hey, let's make it like this. Let's make it like that. Right. And that's like
right.
you being the company owner and CEO, giving us the direction so that the team can like make it according to your vision.
Yeah, so where they were using the words lead, so I know Lorena said, don't use these typical words like lead because it's typical marketing agency. So just use like qualified homeowners. So I said, yeah, that makes more sense. So so I went back and told Sergio that I think we need to reword some of these, and that's why he said, okay, I think let's send it back to the team and try to reword them, put them a little bit better. So that's what we did. So that was a little bit iteration 1 or 2, but not like that 4 month guy like designing on logo. I couldn't do that.
And then,
That's too much.
there's
That's
the
an
same
overkill.
people who are like, launch my agency doesn't work. And it's like, hold up. And we had another case. This guy goes on vacation for 3 weeks, comes back. Where's my company? It's like we couldn't even get logins to be able to put your stuff in, right? Because you were ghosting us. So it's these things
That's
that pop in. but just we just have to deal with it, as well. So just part of the game. But
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
curious, Kamran, and I'm sure the
Yeah.
viewers would also be curious. Like, what type of business are you trying to build, right? Like, what kind of specific agency? Who do you want to work with? What's like your ideal kind of dream life look like when you're that agency owner?
I think I really want to be like I don't want to be constantly active. Obviously, in any business in the beginning, like you guys have gone through the same journey, it's definitely you have to be there in the beginning on the driving seat. But my idea from the very very go get, like in my bachelor's days, I wanted to do something where I'll put in the sweat equity in upfront, get it to a point, and then I want to have it autopilot, or just, instead of being on the driver's seat, I want to be in the back seat.
Mm,
Let someone else drive it, so I can enjoy the other things in life. I've got a
exactly.
whole wish list of things that I need to do, because I was born in Pakistan, but I never lived in Pakistan. I was raised in Africa, Nigeria. So my
Oh wow.
kindergarten all the way to grade 12 was Nigeria. So I'm more of a Nigerian, less of a Pakistani. So I watch a channel called Discover Pakistan, and man, they show so many beautiful places. It's like that's like I'm telling my wife and kids, man, every year or so, these are like I got 100 different places that I've listed that you could go that looks like picturesque beauty. It's like especially northern areas of Pakistan and all those places. So that's a big. And then my big another one is really bigger than. I mean, that's one thing that shows the grandeur of Allah and His greatness. But I really want to go into a lot of doing, helping philanthropy
Mm.
work, especially in poor nations. Like I mean, Pakistan is an underdeveloped nation. Africa, I've been in it because I lived in Africa. Those guys are suffering. I mean,
Oh yeah.
where water is needed, food is needed. So
And also like especially
that's
so for the orphans, right? Like I think that's one of the things. So
oh,
we
big
we
time. Yeah,
started to
that's
we
yep,
started
yep.
to take an initiative. Actually, I launched my agency about a month and a half ago,
Oh,
where yeah, we started sponsoring orphans. So far we've done 18, and
oh, wow,
what we
awesome.
do is we don't just give them like food or anything. We give them education
Right.
and a roof over their head for a whole
Ah,
year. So it's a whole scholarship.
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's in Pakistan, by the way. So like right now, that's where it is. I'm sure we're gonna
Man,
start doing it in different
that's
countries as well. But it's for the orphans. No one
right.
has who's gonna take care of them, right? And we started to
Yeah,
realize, like, honestly, at first, I wasn't like this wasn't something that was like super on my bucket list. Like I know I've always
right.
helped people, but I never viewed it as this because I started to realize if it's not me who's going to try to help these orphans, who would? No one would, right? Because you can always
Yeah,
think, oh,
yeah,
someone else is going to help. Oh, someone else is going to help. No, 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 no,
yep.
no. So I had this realization, like, I'm very grateful to be put in a position by God to be in this spot where I'm able to, like, do these things. Why not help
Exactly,
other people?
exactly.
Why not, right? They need it, and
Right.
especially the people who are the most need orphans, right? These are kids who don't have a mom or a dad.
Oh,
So
yep.
yeah, it's
That's yeah. I mean, just a little glimpse of that, because since I got into IT back in 2023, obviously IT pay scale is a bit much better. So so I was making good money. So because of that, I'm able to, for the past couple of months, over a year now, me and my brother, we've been able to help a lot of our extremely needy relatives in Pakistan.
mm,
So that has really, I enjoy it. I mean, when that happens, had a couple of cousins, he was having an issue, had another, relative who was having an issue. So, and then we had, just like last week, a guy passed away at age 40,
wow,
leaving 5 kids and a wife. They were just like friends of mine, and he said, "Man, we like 600,000 rupees they need because he had owed something." And I said, "Man, I'm in. What do you want me to send in?" He said, "Whatever you can."
yeah.
So just a small glimpse of, if I can do it this way, hey, with the agency and moving forward, man, I could easily sponsor larger amounts.
Oh yeah. This is the spot online business world, especially an agency, especially with AI now. This is like,
Oh,
in my opinion, this is gonna be something that is like it's like the digital gold rush. This is gonna literally turn people into billionaires if they do it properly, if they do it
exactly.
right. But they gotta get in right
Right.
now. That's what I say, right? So like we're literally
Yeah.
even like
Yeah.
changing our name to some level. It's gonna be called Launch My AI Agency, right? So
Yeah.
it's yeah,
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, in your last call, you said, "What did I like?" I think AI is really. I think AI may speed up the whole process much faster.
absolutely everything. Like especially in a year or 2 years or 3 years from now, what happens is what I realized with technology, it compounds. So each 1 year, right? It's not
Yeah.
worth 1 year. It's
Right.
worth like 100 years because it's all
Oh my God,
compounded, right? It's like compound interest, but
yes,
like to on steroids.
I mean, I'm seeing the impact because when I started, first I didn't know. So early last year in 2023, I started using Chat GPT. I wasn't even keeping away. A friend of mine said, "Hey man, you could use this." I said, "Really?" So since we're in IT, we'll do sometimes a lot of scripting and things like that. And now we've got our own companies, in-house developed AI. Oh man, life's gotten so easy. Like I'm stuck on something, just
Done.
ask. And so I've created a persona for that AI saying, hey, you are an SME in Linux. You know everything. You can solve all these
Mm,
problems. So I keep putting in. Sometimes I found solution which the AI was giving me long answers. I say, listen, you gave me too many long answers. This is a short solution. Save it for your future. Save it in the future for my answers. And says, oh, thank you for updating me.
yeah. It's pretty crazy, especially actually we're working on something. I don't know if you were on the virtual event that we did with our clients, but we have literally 7 people full time that are just focused on AI. So we're doing a big R&D
Oh,
thing. Yeah, we're gonna make some pretty big and bold moves in this industry, and of course, the first people to benefit are gonna be people like you. You know, our clients there.
right.
So we'll keep you guys updated. There's a lot of movements that we're
Sure,
that we're currently
sure,
doing.
sure,
But with that being said, brother Kamran, I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm curious, and I'm
sure.
sure the viewers would also be. If someone's on the edge, on the fence of wanting to work with Launch My Agency, would you recommend us?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I think so far I'm seeing things are going in the right direction. Obviously, the beginning is always has got kinks and hiccups, and as you move on, then, it'll get better. But yeah, I've seen a couple of videos, a bunch of videos that you guys have bounced. A lot of people and stories of folks who weren't making money, and finally they're seeing some good results. And I think the story that you folks, when I joined on the onboarding, there was your video about like, three main things about how to get your agency up and going. So a lot of thing is I think you have gone through the, like this, like managers who don't go through the rut don't know what lays down there, but somebody who's gone through the trenches and then gets up, I believe they're the right people to be with because they're not talking from fluff. They've gone through it. So it's somebody who's been hit by a bullet knows exactly what you got to do.
Yeah, I tell our clients it's like we've taken the arrows in the back for you, so you don't have to.
Yeah,
Occasionally you may
right,
take a
right.
little pebble, right? I mean, a pebble might come to you,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we've
not a yeah. I can handle that. Yeah.
exactly right. Yeah, it's like
Yep.
awesome. Well, thank you very much, brother Kamran. Any final words
You're
that you want to
most
say?
welcome.
Any last things that you want to share with the audience here?
I think I'm just right now. I think if somebody's new and looking at it and they're a bit skeptical, I would suggest take a leap of faith and work with LMA. I think you guys are really doing a good job in terms of. Obviously, we have the little hiccups here and there, in with communication. Sometimes happens, which common in any business, any human interaction, anywhere. So I know some people like they say, don't focus on the dot. If you make these little dots the focus, oh, LMA doesn't, you're not getting anywhere. That's what this guy was doing, focusing on the dot for 4 months. So I would say let that pass away, but just focus on the bigger picture. I mean, if you guys can get me up and launched, and hey, that's it. That's all I'm looking for, and that's what
Exactly.
everybody else should be looking for. I mean, I think that's what they should kind of strive for. But I know, I mean, there is a lot of grunt work that I did in the beginning, and it was in the middle of Ramadan, and I asked Wahaj, hey man, I'm gonna need some time. He said, okay, we'll give you an extra month. But even Sergio was like, hey man, I'm surprised that you pulled so well through Ramadan because I know the initial exercise and modules is a good for the brain where you kind of exercise your brain in developing those research and see how research is done, what questions come up, and those your 50-point thing that was nice. I mean, find 50 reasons of why you want to help these guys. So it kind of opens up a different dimension, which many of us don't think we're in the corporate world because you just like that.
100%. Well, thank you very much for joining again. I know it's pretty late for you, but I'm sure the viewers would
Not at
appreciate this
all.
as well. If you're listening to this, guys, and you want to potentially work with us, there's going to be a link down below for you to be able to book in your call. It's going to be with my right hand man and our partnership director of Launch My Agency. So go ahead and book your call down below to see if we are your champion or not.